Last night, I experienced the most vivid dream I've ever had. I dreamt of my wife's beautiful face, the sunlight dancing in her golden blonde hair. I saw how her deep blue eyes shined like sapphires in the light. I saw her smile at me in a way that said, "I love you," and it filled me with joy. I dreamt of my son. I sat by my wife as we watched our son play in the baseball game that he won last week. I watched as he walked up to bat at home plate. Then I cheered as my son, my pride and joy, hit the winning home run, and my heart was filled with pride. He ran to me after the game. He hugged me tight, asking, "Did you see it, Daddy? Did you see what I did?" Then finally, the dream transitioned into last year. On the day of my daughter's wedding, I waited next to my wife and son as my daughter Andrea was walking down the aisle. She had her mother's beautiful blonde hair and brown eyes. She looked so radiant in her white dress, walking down the aisle as music played on. Her soon-to-be husband, Dan, waved at me from his spot next to the altar, and I gave him a thumbs up and the biggest smile I could muster. I turned to look at my daughter, and she stopped at the pew I was sitting at. Andrea smiled at me a smile that she also received from her mother, and she said to me, "Don't I look beautiful, Daddy?" I woke up screaming in the dark of my bedroom and heard my wife stir in her sleep.
"What's wrong, dear?"
Came her voice next to me. "Nothing, dear," I said as sweat dripped from my forehead. "Just a silly nightmare." I sat up in bed and covered my face and eyes with my hands as I heard my wife move to turn the bedside lamp on. "Honey, don't bother, really," I said as I outstretched my right hand to pat her back and reassure her. "It's just a silly nightmare. Just go back to sleep. I'm sorry I woke you." She moved over to me in bed and kissed my cheek.
"Okay, honey, but you're worrying me. This isn't the first time you've had a bad night. Can you at least tell me what the dream is about?"
I shook my head. "It's nothing. Promise. Just a silly dream." I didn't tell my wife what I'd been having nightmares about because I didn't want to worry her. She's always worried about me. I don't want to add to her stress. She gave me another kiss on my cheek and told me goodnight, and I told her sweet dreams. I'm really lucky to have her in my life, and I'm so glad she didn't leave me when it happened. I know it sounds silly, but that was my biggest fear 5 years ago, when diabetes took my vision.